to dominate the fourth quarter, hosted by coaches Tim Beverlin and Mike Hillary. Before I kick it over to him, I have three quick announcements. One, please note that this meeting is being recorded. I will be sharing the link in the chat momentarily to the MAPS YouTube channel, where the recording will be available in 24 hours. Two, currently everybody is on mute. However, we do value group participation. So we ask that if you have any questions for your coach, please go ahead and throw those in the chat box. And three, following the meeting, if you have any questions about today's call or our other coaching programs, please email us at fasttrack@kw.com. And that is fasttrack@kw.com. And that's all from me. The floor is all yours, guys.
Cool. Thanks so much, Justin. Mike, great to see you as always.
Yeah, it's always fun to join. Tim never goes on the road. I'm always on the road for these things.
Yeah, so we got a big group here today. Here we are, Mike. How many weeks do we have left in this quarter?
Oh, you're counting weeks. I can put days on fingers at this point. You got 10 days left in Q3.
There we go. Yeah, if you're here with us live, and I know some of you will be watching this recording, so you'll have even less than 2 hands worth of days left in this third quarter. We're in a full-out sprint until the end of the year. So I was at an interesting conversation yesterday, Mike, with my coach, and we were starting to look at numbers, and I make the choice to take off the last 2 weeks of the year to celebrate holidays. And we're looking at like 12 weeks to Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
And that gave me a little bit of a heart palpitation, if I'm being honest, that it was that soon that it was going to be here. So in you and I talking, what can we do to kind of bring this group value in really dominating this fourth quarter and setting yourselves up for success?
Well, so as we were really kind of talking through this, we found there were really like 5 major places to focus on. And so we're going to really dive into that. You know, we tend to be labeled as tech coaches, but I keep finding more and more of the success with technology comes from mindset and approach, more so than knowing exactly where to click.
Yeah.
Right. And so, you know, we wanted to keep this as simple as possible. So don't expect any like flashy graphics, anything like this, right? This is a game plan to jump in and dominate Q4 so you can start 2023 at the top of your game.
Yeah, your activities today typically show up somewhere around 90 days from the time that you have the activity themselves.
Yeah, and we may not be used to that coming from a speed-based market, right? I think we are fully transitioned back to skills-based market, which means conversion rates are at the conservative side of the timeline.
And that's why you're all here. You're here to get smarter, take some action. So we're going to give you these 5 things. So Mike, let's jump right into it.
Yeah. So, you know, if I'm going to chop down a tree, I'm going to spend as much time as I can sharpening my axe. If you know what page and shift I'm quoting, please throw that in the chat. Even better if you know who said the quote. Right. When was the last time you actually looked at your goals for a quarter? All right. We're going to do what's called a sprint GPS here. So you have what? 11, 12 working weeks left in the year. Yeah, Lincoln, Helma, you nailed it. All right, that is Abraham Lincoln. So find the one goal that you're going to go tackle, and then you're just going to beat, right? You're going to put a GPS to it, a 135. And actually, what would it look like to spend an hour getting very clear on the goal? Because I found in recent coaching calls, Tim, that when we got clear on the goal and we got it to a specific, measurable, actionable, you know, results-oriented and time-bound metric, the priorities and strategies, they were just able to rattle off.
Yeah, and that's that 4th bullet point on there that you might have thought was a typo with the colon in it. The idea is 1 hour working on the goal itself, really 35 minutes.
At most on the priorities and the strategies. Because when the goal is that clear, it's really easy to just zip through them. Oh yeah, we do this, this, and this, and this, and this. And I got to call these people and I got to tag them like this. And we're going to send them this.
Yeah. And just kind of some best practices around this. So 135 is traditionally 1 goal, 3 priorities, 5 strategies for each one of those 3 priorities. Pause for a second. Don't overthink that.
Yeah. Don't get stuck on the difference between a priority and a strategy.
Yeah.
You'll know.
And don't also worry about 5 strategies for each priority. If it's a priority that only has one strategy and that one strategy will hit that priority, that'll result in you hitting the goal, cool. Do it.
Yeah, this is a sprint, not a wait and go GPS.
Yeah, so the idea is that you can accomplish that goal over the next 12 weeks. Kind of like a sprint triathlon. Mike, without the specifics, what's the difference between a sprint triathlon and a traditional triathlon?
It's a lot shorter, and I actually feel capable of the sprint one.
Yes, this is not an Ironman GPS. This is not double or triple or quadruple everything. This is keeping it as simple as possible, hyper focused, because time is, it's not your friend right now. So where we spend it is really, really important on that one thing. Now, Mike, could this also be personal?
I have a baby on the way. So yeah, this is my sprint GPS, is getting prepared for that baby to show up in December.
So it could apply to either part. It could be a business plan. It could be a business goal. It could be a personal goal. I talked to somebody this week that their goal is to take off the entire month of December. That's kind of a cool goal.
I love it. So what has to happen to make that a reality?
Right. So we kind of just create a bigger plan around those priorities that need to happen to accomplish that goal. All right. Questions on this first bullet point or this first step to dominating the fourth quarter? I know it may seem obvious to some of you, but you need to actually have a goal. I don't know what domination looks like.
Yeah. How do you know you win?
Okay. What do you think so far? You pop in the chat box, come off mute, questions, comments as we keep moving.
No, just scholarship fund contributions in the chat.
Perfect. All right. We're going to keep moving forward then. Step 2.
When Tim sent me the title for this, I was like, all right, we got to talk about the clash today. Right.
Yes. Should I stay or should I go? How does that apply to your database?
Yeah, there's a lot of us tend to collect a lot of contact information. The question is, how much of it is actually getting used? How much of this is being applied? So when we were thinking through this, like, and I've been going through this in my database, Tim, there's a lot of tags, and I'm like, so why did I create this tag? I don't even use this anymore.
So a good place to go to clean up your tags, if you're looking at for kind of that starting point. So we'll pop on our tech hats just for a second. Settings. Go up to settings, go to contacts, and look at your tags there. It's the easy view, in my opinion, to see all of your tags and actually tell, hey, you know what? I actually don't need the Q1 2019 tag anymore. That no longer applies in my world. I could probably clean it up.
Yeah, the other piece is, like, are there missing tags that are people who need to be fixed and cleaned up?
Oh, did they move and I don't have their address? Did they switch companies and I had their old company email address, not their new one? Does anybody switch cell phone numbers anymore? Does that still happen?
I think it locks in anymore by the time you graduate high school.
Yes, it's pretty much, you've got it. And having said that, you may have people in your database that actually did switch a phone number of some sort. So just kind of looking up, what do I need to do to clean up? We're into the second part here, Mike, which is allied resources.
Yeah.
Why are they so important?
Well, chances are they're going to be your fastest path to hitting that sprint GPS. And number one, they're going to be willing to help you because they probably need some business too.
Yeah. So right from MREA, the one-to-many, meaning that these individuals are going to lead to multiple transactions over the course of a year. Not over the course of the lifetime with you, actually over the course of a year, multiple transactions. So your time is better spent with one-to-many or one that leads to many transactions. Questions on allied resources? I saw some looks that may be confusing.
It's the difference between resources, somebody who's going to send you leads once in a while, and allied resources who are in the trenches with you.
Yeah, and there's some great places to look for those, building your business-to-business team. All right, so here is a real life example, Mike. I got into my database this morning and I looked at who have I not contacted in the last 90 plus days, simply by filtering my contacts. Want to take a guess at that number?
Is it a percentage?
Yeah, let's go with percentage.
I'm going to go with 50% plus.
Yeah, it was bigger than that. I've got about 25,000 people in my database in command right now and adding to it aggressively. It was a big, big number that said 10,000 plus. And yet once I started scrolling through the pages, it was a big number, bigger than I'd like to admit. So maybe the question is, who hasn't heard from you in the last 90 plus days that's in your database?
Yeah. Who forgot what your voice sounds like?
Who forgot what your business was?
Or how to spell Beverly?
Yes. Or Hillary with one L or two.
Yeah. Like it's that top of mind, that consistency is what creates a sustainable business.
Yeah. So great question from Daisy in the chat box. Does this include emails as well? So good question. So did they open the email would be my follow-up. And did they reply, or was there a clear call to action that caused them to exchange a conversation with you?
Yeah. With emails, it's about the conversation that gets started, not that they just received something, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you haven't had a conversation, whether it's digital or by voice.
Yeah. So where do you find this? So if you go into command and you go to filters, you could filter by last contacted, and you could search for greater than 90 days or whatever time's appropriate for you. I put 90 days because I believe in the best practice, and we're going to get to this in a second, of a 36 touch and talking to everybody in my database once a quarter or once every 90 days.
Yeah. And then who has your app, right? It's a great reason to reach out, and it's really easy to see who has your app. They get that little green check mark in your command database.
Knowing that they're branded to you, they have your app. I was looking at properties this morning, Mike, in Rome. I've never been to Rome, and yet they're on our, they're inside of our consumer experience now,
yep.
As well as 9 different languages that it can be translated into. So good opportunity to have this as a worldwide touch for your database. All right, step 2 is big. Step 3.
In a TCPA compliant way, meaning this is an opt-in, you're not just touching people who don't want to be touched. Like, that's just not how this works. Be strategic with these, right? Whether you subscribe to 33 touch straight out of the MREA or 36 touch, which has been updated based on the research, if you go to Business Planning Clinic, there's a strategy to it, right? There's the quarterly phone call. There's the bi-weekly some item of value in their inbox. That's 30 of your 36 touches. The other 6, that's where you get to play.
Yeah, is that a video touch? Is that a direct mail promotional items we've got built into that? Is that like, what does that look like so that the individuals that are in your database are being strategically touched in the way in which they're more likely to be invited into a conversation about real estate?
Mm-hmm. And this is where smart plans come in handy, because you can automate the process to tell you to do something for the quarterly phone call, for the biweekly neighborhood nurture. That'll even just send on its own. Mm-hmm. And then you just have to find the other 6. And so here's what we see tends to work to drum up business quickly. 1, end of year events. Nearly every major religion has a holiday coming up in this quarter where they stop, slow down, and celebrate together.
Reverse bold 100. What's that?
Well, you know, it's where you give them a reason to reach out to you. Instead of you calling 100 people are calling you. How do you think I got this water bottle, Tim?
Yeah. So check it with your broker to find out what's allowable in your state if it pertains to a specific giveaway or an item of value. Yet the idea behind a reverse bold 100 is, just as Mike said, 100 people are going to contact you in a particular day, usually tied to an item of value that they're entering to win with no purchase necessary. So again, check with your broker, make sure it's allowable in your state of providence or your country for that matter, as I know we have some worldwide guests with us as well. And then you create an event around that. Yeah. Lastly, charity events.
Yeah. Q4 is historically the strongest quarter for charity donations, right? Having been on the board for Kitty Kid Scan, like we made most of our money in Q4.
Yeah. And it also probably takes most of your time in Q4. So it's charitable donations, both in monetary and time. Both are important. Mike, I want to take just 1 second and go backwards to smart plans as a best practice to share with this group today. So let's imagine for a second, I'm on a smart plan and my first touch is going to be an SMS. So they're going to get the first touch from me and a phone number that they probably don't know is my cell phone number. So what would it look like if the first touch was, hey, Mike, this is Tim's new office line. Please add this to my contact card.
Oh, that is a smart plan that is already built and published. Just
That it is.
search Twilio intro in the smart plan library, and that'll be that introductory text. Because if they don't know to expect a message from you, they're going to assume it's spam.
There we go. Now every other feature touch is going to come up as my name or your name to your database. So they're more likely to open it and read it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Other points or questions on that before we keep moving? You're getting a lot really fast today. This is why we record. All right. Step 4, opportunities.
Yeah. I don't know about around you, Tim, but down here in O'Fallon, Illinois, the market center is right up against some farm fields, right? It is harvest season, right? The corn and the beans are coming up. The question is, when we look at your sales pipeline, what seeds are still in the ground? What are you still working to cultivate?
So just open up opportunities and look right there at your different pipelines inside of those opportunities. Who's still hanging out in that cultivate stage, or I'm sorry, cultivate phase, that may not have had the touches that have moved them in any way. They're just kind of hanging out there. They said someday maybe I'd buy, someday maybe I'd sell. What have we done to move them up in that process or create urgency around that?
Yeah, and so it's really doing that quick review and understanding, okay, they said their needs were this. Is that still the case today?
Yeah. How do I create urgency with buyers and sellers? That's a big question. How do you create urgency right now? Go ahead, Mike.
Well, so you find out what problems they have, right? And you figure out, okay, so here's the solution to it. It's better to buy real estate and wait than to wait and buy real estate. That rent versus own slide that was at Mega Camp has been huge for even getting my brother off the fence.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can also use interest rates. Mm-hmm. So if you're here based in the US, what's happened to our interest rates in the last 7 days?
They're all over the place, Tim.
Yeah, if you're here live, they've gone, for most borrowers, they've gone up significantly. I see a question in the chat box I want to make sure we address from Kelly. What's the best practice on when to create an opportunity? What I've seen most common, Kelly, is 12 months or less away from transacting real estate.
Yep, so if they give you a timeline, that is the time to create the opportunity or set a reminder like, okay, they said they are 2 years out. So I need a task for September 23 to see if they're still on track.
Yep. So making sure that when they think of real estate, they think of you. And the only way to do that is by consistently being in contact with them, again, in a two-way TCPA compliant way. All right. By when do we need to be under contract or in escrow to still close in 2022?
Ooh, well, Tim, you're taking the last 2 weeks of the year off. So you got to be probably closing before then if you want to be part of it.
So in many markets, that's 30 to 45 to 60 days potentially that I need to have a buyer and seller agree upon price and terms in order to still close it out this year. So yeah, if we walk that backwards, October is going to be my month.
Yeah, October is your real money month. It's trick or treat, Tim.
That's it. And for all of you extra optimists out there, as I have been known to be one in the past, yes, you could do a cash deal on December 28th. Maybe you could somehow get title in time and close that thing out. Great. We're going for what's my probability of success.
Yeah, we're going for the consistency. Just because I can make it from half court once in a while doesn't mean I should skip layups.
Great analogy there. So again, the date that we're looking at by October 31st, that's about when I probably need to be in escrow or under contract, depending on the terminology in your state of Providence, in order to still have a high likelihood of closing in 2022. Although it was shared with me this morning from a team that they're seeing longer lag times than that right now. So know your numbers, and that'll help you predict where you need to be. All right. Let me just,
yeah, I got
there
it.
we go.
Yep.
Cool. All right. So continuing on scheduled campaigns.
Yeah. So here's kind of the sweet spot is you want to have a process to make sure your marketing is updated at least every 90 days. Because chances are seasons are changing, right? The market feels different in Q1 than it does in Q4. The factors change, the facts change, the emotions change. So here's my question. What are you doing to plan ahead so you have the right social posts, the right email campaigns already running through the end of the year?
Yeah, I mean, I can already pick what dates are going to be the holidays between now and the end of the year. They're on a calendar. Both holidays that I celebrate as a family, both that my extended family celebrates, both that my friends, like I can put them all on my scheduled campaign. I'm just going to pick one. I know when New Year's Eve is. It's pretty easy.
That one doesn't tend to change.
Not a lot of fluctuation in there. I know it's going to be the last day of the year, and I know I can go ahead and schedule that social post now to wish everybody in my world a happy New Year's.
Yeah, because that's not moving anytime soon.
Oh, for all of my friends that are here in the US, I know when American Thanksgiving is. I can schedule that out. I can have that scheduled campaign so that the day of Thanksgiving, as I'll likely be cooking, I'm not worried about, oh, did I wish the world a happy Thanksgiving? So it allows you to appear to be always available or always out there without actually being always out there.
Yeah, that's the magic of marketing, is your message happens without you saying a word.
So this can apply to both social posts and paid campaigns.
Yeah, whether it's an advertisement, whether it's an email campaign, or really any kind of, even non-digital. You can time out your postcards.
Great. So I can time out my direct mail and have that scheduled to go out. So it allows me to be more purposeful as I business plan this month and next month in what I want in 2023. I could start to get those things worked out in the fourth quarter right now. Mike, the question here, and this may seem odd for dominating the fourth quarter, when do I unplug?
Oh, see, here's the deal. I don't know, Tim, how much basketball you watch, but you're a Sixers fan, right?
I am. I'll say that even on a recorded call.
I figured I could just throw this out there. Do the starters play every minute of the game?
Not even James Harden. Even he takes time out to go to the Eagles game last night.
Yeah. They take time off so they can perform at their best. Everybody needs that recharge, especially the elite performers. I mean, Tom Brady right now takes off every Wednesday. Mm-hmm. Like he just told his team, I'm not showing up on Wednesdays.
So there's time to unplug. Because then it follows up with a natural question, who's going to service leads while I'm away? Is that a person or is that a system?
Because some people just need to be heard and acknowledged. It's okay to be like, hey, great, can we talk on Thursday? Great, I'd love to talk. If you give them a time and you give them a path to a solution, if it matches their schedule, it'll work.
Yeah, so that sounds a lot to me like auto smart plans at the time a lead comes in. And you can do that with campaigns. And vacation responders, yes. Thank you for that too. Really important. All right, Q&A. We wanted to give you a lot of information in 20 minutes. We extended it by 23, 24 minutes and got a lot in there. What are your questions? And I did see a question in the chat box. We'll copy these slides. I believe the copy of the slides will be part of the recording, or you could go back and rewatch the recording and definitely see the slides there.
What categories of sellers are more likely to want to sell before the holidays?
So what category of sellers are more likely to sell before the holidays? Go ahead, Mike.
The general answer is ones who have a motivation before the end of the year. And so when you look at the life circumstances for people, this can be investors who are looking to conduct a 1031 exchange. This can be any one of like the 6 Ds, right? There just happened to be a death in the family or divorce. I know those are kind of the negative ones, but some people are chasing their dreams. They just got a new job, right? And so they're going to need to relocate. And so the trick is finding the motivation behind it. And that's the real way to find the sellers who sell in Q4.
So do you think that some investors who might have had their property for a while might have a good opportunity to sell the property before the end of the year so they can take the cash benefits out of it, or the tax benefits out of it?
It would be a great way to explore, hey, Have you looked at how much your property has appreciated this year? Is the right path for you to buy and hold, or do you need to improve and sell? Like, what is the best fit for your portfolio?
Great. And Mike, could you pop those D's in the chat box as
Yeah,
well?
that means I got to remember all of them. And
Yeah.
that's the part I don't have off the top of my head.
So another question was asked, how do you create urgency right now? What are some conversations that maybe you could lead to that? One conversation could be, hey, have you checked out the local interest rates? How has that impacted the value of your house? If you'd like to know how local interest rates or how current interest rates have impacted the value of your home, contact me for a no cost evaluation where we'll find out what the market suggests your home may be worth right now.
Yep.
Buyers that are on the fence. Do you think interest rates are going to go up or down? Trick question. They're going to do both over time.
Yeah.
They're going to go up. They're going to go down. We're going to see a lot of that. So you're always right with whatever answer comes out. Okay, great. Are you better owning real estate today, or are you better owning real estate in the future? Do you want to pay your mortgage, or do you want to pay your landlord's mortgage? Either one can be true. So just examples of conversations that you could have, or conversation starters that maybe you want to consider in creating some urgency with your database.
Yeah, I want to take on Wendy's question here because this one's really good. So, do we list during the holiday or tee them up to list after January 1st? Actually, here's a great way to create urgency. Hey, if you're looking to sell in the next year, one thing we found is snowy pictures don't sell as well, right? Let's get a picture of your home now, right as the leaves are changing, right before they all fall, so we can best present your property when it goes on the market.
Great. Another thought around that, maybe consider during the holidays, if you're going to put your property on the market with those great photos. If I'm out on Christmas Eve, I'm there to buy something. If I'm looking at real estate Christmas Eve and I celebrate Christmas, I'm there to buy something. So we may increase the likelihood that the people that choose to come through your home during that time are really, really serious. So Mike, I want to be respectful of everyone's time here because we promised them 30 minutes. I'll pop in the chat box my email address if there are additional questions. And Mike, if you want to, you could do the same. You already beat me to it. You did beat me to it. Did I spell my last name right? Yes, we did. If you've got additional questions, Mike and I have had the privilege to do some group programs with MAPS around this style of using technology. We called it Command in your real estate career. If you've got questions on that, I believe the link, Justin may pop that into the chat box. Yet anything we could do to continue to serve you, let us know. Thank you for participating in this. Mike, any final thoughts?
Your score in the fourth quarter is up to you. You have the playbook. It's your turn to take a shot.
I can't follow that. That was really well said. So thank you all for taking time out to make yourselves smarter. This will be just entertainment if you don't take action on it. So take some action, leverage Mike and I if we can help, and have an amazing end of third quarter and fourth quarter.
Yeah, happy 2023. Everybody's closing.
Talk to you soon.
So yeah.